Hi boys and girls, happy Friday. I hope you're all doing well. We're going to get started reading Because of Winn, Dixie, chapter 13. I'm reading from the comfort of my own home right now, so you're going to have to get used to the workout clothes look every day. Okay, hopefully you're just as cozy as I am. So let's see where we left off on chapter 13. So we know that in chapter 12 we left off talking about all the stories that Opal was coming up with that she wants to share with her mom. So we left with that hope in chapter 12 that Opal really feels like her mom's going to come back, and she's gone through all these positive moments in her life so far, and she can't wait to share those with her mom. So crossing my fingers that that actually happens for her. Chapter 13. Me and Winn Dixie got into a daily routine where we would leave the trailer early in the morning and get down to Gertrude's Pets in time to hear Otis play his guitar music for the animals. Sometimes Sweetie Pie snuck in for the concert too. She sat on the floor and wrapped her arms around Winn Dixie and rocked him back and forth like he was a big old teddy bear. And then when the music was over, she would walk around trying to pick out which pet she wanted, but she always gave up and went home because the only thing she really wanted was a dog like Winn Dixie. After she was gone, I would sweep and clean up and even arrange some of Otis's shelves because he did not have an eye for arranging things, and I did. And when I was done, Otis would write down my time in a notebook, and he had marked on the outside 1 red leather collar and 1 red leather leash. And the whole time, he did not in any way ever act like a criminal. After working at Gertrude's Pets, me and Winn Dixie would go over to the Herman W. Block Memorial Library and talk to Miss Franny Block and listen to her tell us a story. But my favorite place to be that summer was in Gloria Demp's yard. And I figured it was Winn Dixie's favorite place too. Because when we got up to the last block before her house, Winn Dixie would break away from my bike and start to run for all he was worth, heading for Gloria Demp's backyard and his spoonful of peanut butter. Sometimes Dunlap and Stevie Dewberry would follow me. They would holler, "There goes the preacher's daughter, visiting the witch." "She's not a witch," I told them. It made me mad the way they wouldn't listen to me and kept on believing whatever they wanted to believe about Gloria Demp. One time, Stevie said to me, "My mama says you shouldn't be spending all your time cooped up in that pet shop and at that library, sitting around talking with old ladies. She says you should get out in the fresh air and play with kids your own age. That's what my mama says." "Oh, lay off her," Dunlap said to Stevie. Then he turned to me. "You don't mean it," he said. But I was already mad. I shouted at Stevie. I said, "I don't care what your mama says. She's not my mama, so she can't tell me what to do." "I'm going to tell my mama you said that," shouted Stevie. "And she'll tell your daddy, and he'll shame you in front of the whole church. And that pet shop man, he's retarded and he was in jail, and I wonder if your daddy knows that." Not the most kind language that we're using there, right? "Otis is not retarded," I said, "and my daddy knows that he was in jail." That was a lie, but I didn't care. "And you can go ahead and tell on me if you want, you big bald-headed baby." I swear it about wore me out yelling at Dunlap and Stevie Dewberry every day. By the time I got to Gloria Demp's yard, I felt like a soldier who had been fighting a hard battle. Friends, it says I felt like a soldier who had been fighting a hard battle. I'm going to give you a second and see if you remember what that is, what that comparison is called. It used the word like. It's comparing her feelings of a soldier, or her feelings to feeling like a soldier. It's a simile, so good job if you remember that. Gloria would make me a peanut butter sandwich straight off, and then she would pour me a cup of coffee with half coffee and half milk, and that would refresh me. "Why don't you play with them boys?" Gloria asked me. "Because they're ignorant," I told her. "They still think you're a witch. It doesn't matter how many times I tell them you're not." Let's think about that word ignorance. So it says, I'm going to reread it because we're going to use our context clues. It says, "Because they're ignorant," I told her. "They still think you're a witch. It doesn't matter how many times I tell them you're not." So I'm wondering what that means, ignorance. Okay, so if you have an idea, I want you to have that idea in your head. I would say, I don't have the dictionary right in front of me, but based on what I'm reading, it's that they are choosing to ignore information that someone is telling them, and that their thinking isn't the most smart, right? Because when Opal's telling them something that's truthful, Opal's going over her house and clearly, she's leaving, not being eaten by the witch like the boys told her before. that's being ignorant. That's not wanting to believe the truth for certain reasons. So I think a lot of it is jealousy. A lot of it is not wanting Opal. They don't want to see Opal as someone who's more brave than they are, okay? I think they're just trying to make friends with you in a roundabout way, Gloria said. I don't want to be their friend, I said. It might be fun having them two boys for friends. I'd rather talk with you, I said. They're stupid and mean and they're boys. Gloria would shake her head and sigh, and then she would ask me what was going on in the world. And I did. And did I have any stories to tell her? And I always did. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 13. And if, I had you with me right now, we are actually at the end of our first part of the character traits we've been studying in Reader's Workshop. And today was kind of supposed to be a little celebration of how far you've come in talking about characters and, talking about Opal and Because of Winn, Dixie, and in your own books as well. But one of the things that I want to leave you with is thinking through all this is, what kind of reader are you? So when you're reading, what do you notice? Are you the kind of reader that notices what the character's doing? Are you the kind of reader that notices what they say or their actions? Do you really think about their character traits? Do you notice words that you might not know and you love vocab so you want to figure it out? Or is there something that you want to jot down when you're reading and use post-its or color code certain things? So really think about what reader you are, and then just like we normally do when you do your 30 minutes of independent reading today, kind of think about that as you're reading. What are you thinking about as you read? All right? So it is Friday, so I will read the next chapter to you on Monday, chapter 14. I'm excited. Have a good day today. Enjoy your weekend. I miss you all, and I will hear from you soon. Bye, guys.